Welcome to the Service Industry Podcast. I've spent the last decade as a CEO, operator, and business builder selling tens of millions of dollars in products and services. I, just like many of you, started with nothing. My mission for this podcast is to help you become the greatest version of yourself, help you grow and scale your business, and create the life you've always dreamed of. I'm your host, Matt Smith. Enjoy the episode. What is going on, everybody? Matt here from the Service Industry Podcast. Hope everybody is doing well. Man, I hope everybody had a great weekend, finished last week strong, and we are in a new week. Here in Michigan, we've had some pretty brutal weather over the last couple weeks. Lots of snow. It's been really cold. And this week it's supposed to be in the 40s all week, which is like, to us, basically summer. So I'm stoked on that. And what that means for the home service business guys around here is that the phones are about to start lighting up. People are going to start getting the itch for spring, and the same is happening in your area. So I hope you guys are ready for it. Hope you guys are taking advantage, doing everything you can in order to scale your businesses this year. Hey, before we dive in, as always, you guys know I own ServiceIndustryCoach.com. We help home service business owners scale through our marketing services and through our one-on-one consulting. Last year, we launched a special where we were building out websites for $999, a full site. I mean, the sites are sick, and a ton of people took advantage of it. We have 3 openings for that right now. The reason we only have 3 is because our lead times get too long. We don't have a massive team, but we are launching 3 new site projects. So if you're like, man, I am due for a new website in 2025, you want a really clean site that you can either run paid traffic to or just organic traffic to, this is the most inexpensive way to have a super professional site. And really, we kind of tier these towards people who are, in the early stages of business, doing under 7 figures a year. And this website will really help you get going. And like I said, we've helped tons of people. So if you want to take advantage of that, links in the show notes. Long story short, we'd love to work with you. Second, if you haven't joined the Facebook group, as always, please do. Links in the show notes. Service Industry Tribe, 250 people in there, all business owners collaborating, talking, sharing. I've seen guys in there, even just in the last week, sharing photos of projects they're on, asking questions about hiring, leadership, all the stuff. Go join the group. It's a good spot to be. All right. Today is not a quote-unquote tactical podcast to help you necessarily scale. However, it is a good mental podcast to help you scale your mental ability, I hope, and just really more than anything, reshape the way you think about success. And I'm going to tell a story here in a minute. I talked about this on Facebook on my personal page a little bit a couple days ago, but I cannot get it out of my head, and I wanted to talk to you guys about it today because I believe it will help a lot of you guys, the way that you look at success, what you're chasing, all of those things. And as you guys know, although this is a very tactical business podcast, I believe there's a lot more than just tactics that go into being successful. And so today's one of those shows. So about a week ago, I'm at the gym. And just like I do every single time I'm there, I'm walking the track just to kind of warm up. When I'm now in my 30s, if I don't do a little bit of warm up stuff before I start actually lifting, things start exploding like my joints. So I always walk the track prior. And I'm just, I'm walking a good pace, but nothing crazy. And I'm coming around the turn, and I see this guy. He's in the slow lane. There's 3 different lanes, and he's in the slow lane, and he's hunched over. And I can tell from a distance he's old. I can't tell how old, but he's walking. He's pretty hunched over. He's got a cane. And as I get closer and closer, I realize the guy's probably in his, late 70s, early 80s. And, he's not walking fast at all, but he's just absolutely sweating through his shirt. He's not in workout clothes. He's just in jeans and a long sleeve shirt, and he's sweating. And I can tell, man, it's hard. Like, the guy's having a hard time getting through his walk around the track, but he's there and he's doing it. And I think it's awesome, right? And as I passed him, I looked at him, and, he looked like he's a well put together guy. And, I hate to ever judge a book by its cover, but if I had to guess, I don't think he was poor by any means. I think he looked to be like he took care of himself somewhat, but he was old, man. And as I walked by the guy, I just started thinking, I don't even know why this happened, but I started thinking to myself, like, man, what if that guy was worth $100 million right now? Like, what if I just walked by a guy who was worth $100 million, and maybe he's built massive businesses, in his earlier years, and now he's retired and all of that. And what if that is the case? And then I asked myself, if that was true, for whatever reason, let's say, if it was true that this guy was worth $100 million today, and I just passed him on the track and he saw me, would that guy trade places with me right now, yes or no? Okay, I'm 35. I'm active. I lift heavy things every single day. I'm an active dad. I'm building businesses. I can move well. Would that guy trade places with me? And based on the way he was moving, okay, and the way he was feeling, just by I could tell physically, okay, and leave his family out of it and all that kind of stuff. But let's just say none of that existed, and he could either choose to be 80 and immobile almost, but worth 100 million, or choose to be me, much less successful than him, quote unquote, on paper, but have all the other things I just mentioned. What would he choose? And I said 10 out of 10 times, I can almost guarantee he would trade places with me. Okay. And then I asked myself, would I, if I knew he was worth $100 million, trade places with him right now? Meaning, as a 35-year-old, would I be willing to go from me to him being 80, not being able to hardly walk, but having all the money in the world? And the answer was not a chance. And as I kept doing my laps around the track, I couldn't get this thought out of my head about success and how even myself, I need to reframe what that even means. What does that even look like? But most importantly, what I got out of it was how I need to do a much better job living in the moment, but not just living in the moment, but being happy in the moment. As business owners and entrepreneurs, we're often setting goals for ourselves that are, 3, 6, 12, 24, 5 years down the road, right? 3, 6, 12 months down the road. Every year, by the way, we're all setting 12-month goals. Some of us are setting 3-year goals, 5-year goals, 10-year goals down the road. And we do this thing. And by the way, I used to be very guilty of this, but I almost didn't allow myself to be happy until I hit the goal. Okay. I had these big lofty goals, and it was like, I'll be happy when I hit the goal. I'll be happy when I arrive at what I'm chasing, at the destination. But you guys know my story. Like back in 2020, I arrived at the destination, and the destination was just a pit stop, man. Like there was nothing there. There was nothing tangible there. There wasn't like a light switch. This light switch I hit that was like the happy switch, and all of a sudden I'm happy. I felt the exact same. And so as I'm walking around the track the other day, I'm thinking, if you wouldn't trade places to be a guy who's in his 70s or 80s who's worth 100 million, then what are you waiting for right now to be completely 110% happy in life? Because I am just as guilty as every single one of you guys as far as constantly trying to become a better version of myself, constantly trying to make more money, constantly trying to build a bigger business. And meanwhile, often during that pursuit, I miss what's actually important right in front of me. Some of you guys tracking with me. Some of you guys might be able to relate to this, because there's been many years in my life that I have quote unquote sacrificed my happiness in order to chase a goal, just to find out that the goal gets moved to something bigger when I arrive at it. And so who am I to think that it's going to feel any different from when I made my first $1 million to making $10 million to, who knows, maybe one day I'll make more than that. Why would it feel any different than the first million? The answer is it won't. And so this is where I get really passionate about when I'm coaching people, and I'm like, okay, what are you here for? What do you want to do with your business? What kind of business do you want to build? And so often people are like, oh, I want to build the biggest business I can. And my first question is, why? And they always stop and look at me like, what do you mean, why? Why do you want to build the biggest business you can? I mean, I'm cool with it. If that's what you want to do, I'm down, dude. I can help you. But why? Because I want to make sure you actually want to build the biggest business. And you're not just saying that's what you want to do because you see all these people on the internet who talk about it. Or you think that's what you're supposed to say as an entrepreneur. That's why I'm so passionate about reverse engineering the life I want to live and then building a business that supports it, right? So let me give you an example of what that means. This would be a really good free exercise for everybody, okay? I ask you, what kind of business do you want to build? Okay, and you may or may not know the answer to that right now, but I'm going to help you arrive at the answer. More importantly than the business you want to build, I'm going to ask you, what is the ideal life you want to live? Okay. Do you want to live in a multi-million-dollar house? Do you want to have a Lamborghini? Do you want to have a $200,000 or $300,000 wake boat? Do you want to live on the lake? Do you want to do all these fancy things? Do you want to fly first class every time you're on a plane? Right? Do you want to do all these things? Maybe you do. Okay. If so, building that business is a lot different than what I want out of life. For me, I know what I want out of life. I believe one day I will have a supercar. I believe that. But it doesn't, for me, it's not one of those things where it has to be today. I'm cool getting it when I'm 45. Right? But I know what kind of house I want to live in. I want to live in, honestly, a pretty average home on land or on the lake. I already drive a nice vehicle. I want to have money in the bank. I know how much my lifestyle is going to cost me. It's not going to have to make me millions of dollars a year in order to live the life I want to live, rather. So instead, I've literally broken down what I want out of life and what does that cost me on a yearly basis. And let's just round up and say, well, that life's going to cost me $400,000 a year. Okay. Geez, Matt only wants to make $400K a year. I'm not necessarily saying that, but what I'm saying is this, is that the life, my ideal life that I know makes me happy, like to my core, not what the internet tells me, not what my other business friends are going for, not what every podcast is telling me to do, me. What makes Matt Smith happy inside, right? For me, that's freedom of time. That's spending as much time as humanly possible with my kid, doing the basic things, going on bike rides, getting ice cream in the summer, hopping in the truck and driving to a campground, going up north for a long weekend, going out of state whenever I want to with my kid. Those are the things that make me happy. I don't give an F about flying private and having a $3 million. Dude, I don't want a $3 million house because I don't want to clean it. Bro, I don't want a monster house. The house I live in now is not that big and I have a hard enough time keeping that clean. So what am I going to do with a 6 or 7 bedroom house? That wouldn't make me happy. And I know that. Therefore, I don't need to build a business to support that. I need to build a business that supports my life and my desires. So I ask you guys today, how much money would you have to make every year in order to support the life that would make you happy? Right? Like for me, I want to golf a couple times a week. I want to live in a nice house on land or on the lake. I want to have a boat. I want to have as much time with my kid as humanly possible. That right there is going to cut me out from probably building a $50 million or $100 million business because that is going to require my entire life. I'm cool with that, dude. I don't need that. And so my question to you is, what is it that you need? And then how can you build a business around it? You might only need to build a business that's doing $700,000 a year to support the life you want. Or you might need to build a $10, $20, $30 million business to support the life you want. And guess what? Neither of them are right and neither of them are wrong. It just depends on the life that you want to live. Okay? And so I wanted to talk to you guys about this today because as I walked by that guy today at the gym, I told myself I would never be willing to trade places with that guy right now. And so then it was a wake-up call for me. It's like, if that's true, then what you're saying is what you have right now is greater than having $100 million in the bank. And if that is the case, because that's a lot of money, if that is true and that is the case, you should be overwhelmingly happy every single day right now. And it was a wake-up call for me, man. I think it was a God thing, honestly. I think it was a God thing that popped in my head because, first off, I'm a deep thinker. Sometimes I wish I didn't think so much about things like this. I wish I wasn't as aware as I am. But I think it's a God gift that I have because it served me really well in my life. But I've been really just toying around with like, what does success look like? And I think that popped in my head for a reason this week. And I just wanted to share it with you guys because if I had to guess, you guys wouldn't trade places with that guy right now either. Regardless of how broke you are, regardless of how big or small your business is, we probably just wouldn't do it. I want to be able to move, man. I can move right now. Like, that guy doesn't know how much time. I mean, none of us know how much time we have left, but like, if we're just going on the clock, dude, that guy's got very limited time left. I'm not trading for money for that. It's not worth it to me. And so it just reinforced, Matt, get focused. What is the dream life you want to live? That you want to live, that makes you happy, that fulfills you, where at the end of the day, when you lay your head down at night, you're like, dude, I'm living my dream, not somebody else's, not the dream. You hear it too much, living the dream. No, bro, I'm living my dream, right? And to some people, that might be like this crazy, awesome life. And to some other people, they're like, dude, that sounds so boring. It's cool, dude. It's whatever aligns with you. And so I want you guys to get focused on it. And I think the least overwhelming way to look at that is just exactly what I said. What does your perfect dream life look like? Write this down, by the way, in a journal and get specific. Like, this should be pages long. Write out, what does a dream day look like? What does a dream year look like for you? Okay? Maybe that's you working 5 hours a week. Maybe that's you working 50 hours a week, right? Maybe that's you running an owner-operator business, or maybe that's you running a business with 100 employees. I don't know. But what does your dream life look like? And then what business do you have to own in order to support that? And that's it, dude. That is the solution. That is the target. And so when I'm coaching people and I say, so what are we doing with the business? What's the goal here? What are we trying to do? Oh, I want to scale it as big as I possibly can. Why? All right, let's stop. What does your dream life look like? And then they tell me, and I'm like, like a $2 million business would support that? And it's almost like a weight comes off most people's shoulders because they're like, wait a minute, you mean I don't have to build a $30 million company? No, dude, you don't. Not if that's your dream life, because the dream life you're telling me about, you only need to build a $1 or $2 million company. And I just think that we all have this pressure. Some days I wish I could just delete my social media and for a year and just see how it reshapes the way I think about life, the world, my businesses, my personal life, and everything. I know for a fact it would drastically change everything. But so many of us have this social pressure on us, dude, to live our lives a certain way based on what we are watching on the internet and listening to on podcasts. And I just want to be one of the only voices I've heard in a long time say, you don't have to do what everybody else does. You can live your dream life. And regardless of the industry you're in, if you own a home service business, I'm telling you, big dreams or small dreams, this industry can support them all. Okay? And so I've helped guys grow and scale to 8 figures. I've actually coached guys that hated their business so much, I finally said, why are we not just selling the thing? And they did. And then they pursued something they really loved, and now they're happy. I've been on both sides of the coin, and I don't hear this conversation very often. I just hear grow, 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 scale, 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 build as big as you can, sacrifice now to play later, all this stuff that's a bunch of bullshit, by the way, okay? Said mostly by people who have never built a single thing. Most of the people you hear on the internet have never built a real business, ever. They don't even understand what it takes. All they know is sitting in front of a camera and spitting off motivational quotes, but they've never actually been in the trenches. They don't know what it takes to go out and acquire a customer. They don't know how it feels to get sued by an employee or by a vendor. They don't know what it feels like to build a business only to have it fail 2 or 3 years later. They don't know anything. However, they're spewing all these motivational quotes and giving you all this quote unquote advice of how to grow a business and live your life, but they've never done it. However, we still listen to it, and in the back of our head, we let it affect the way that we make decisions in our life. We allow it to make us feel like we're ahead or behind, like we're on track or off track. And I'm here to tell you, it's all a bunch of crap. The only thing that matters is what is the life that you want to live, and what is the business you need to build in order to support that lifestyle. I love you guys. I hope you find value in this. I hope it just gets your mind ticking a little bit. And more than anything, I hope it frees you up to feel like you have to follow some status quo way of building your business. And by the way, this is by no means me saying you shouldn't build a ginormous business and make as much money as humanly possible. I am very much so trying to build big businesses and make lots of money because God has given me the potential to do so and I want to use it. However, I will not allow that to distract me from what actually makes me happy and fulfilled long term. And you shouldn't either. I love you guys. I'll see you on the next episode. See ya. Thank you for listening to this episode of the podcast. As always, if you need any help marketing your business or want to work with me directly doing one-on-one coaching, visit serviceindustrycoach.com. We'll see you on the next episode.